All right, guys. Good afternoon. Welcome again to one of the trading sessions that I have decided to be, organizing for this quarter. Okay, you're aware that the last quarter ended very well. We had very profitable trade setups. Okay, so today I'm going to start with the trading instruments. Okay, the instrument that we've chosen for analysis this week. Okay, we're going to be analyzing a number of currency pairs and some commodities. Okay, so let me just run you through the instruments that we'll be analyzing this week. We're going to do a trade analysis to just to give you an idea of what my top processes are. Okay, and before we take the trades, okay, I'm going to give you the signals at the end of the day also. Okay, because you know that the new trading week has just begun. Okay, so we're going to look at AN. Okay, that is Aussie New Zealand dollar. Okay, we're going to look at Euro USD. We're going to look at the we're going to look at the Great British Pound USD. We're going to look at the UJ. We're going to look at AJ. We're going to look at gold, and we're going to also be reviewing Bitcoin. Okay, so guys, these are the instruments that we're going to look at. Okay, so let us just start with Bitcoin. Okay, so what is Bitcoin doing? All right, so guys, let's just look at this chart very briefly. You will see that from the daily time frame, we are going to be taking our, long time, trade buyers from the daily time frame. Okay, we're going to be working from the daily time frame, guys. So let me zoom out on this chart. Okay, let me zoom out on this chart. So guys, if you look at this instrument, you see that this instrument has been has been uptrending up to this particular point. Okay, up to this particular point, and let me show you what I mean. Okay, up to this particular price point. All right. Now, and recently we've seen a drop, very sharp drop up to this price level. Okay, that's around 60,000, $60,305 per Bitcoin. Okay, and so you can see that for the price to have gotten to this level and start going up, okay, you see that it has not broken this low. Okay, it has not broken this low, and if it did, that is a major market shift. Okay, what we call change. If it did break here, which means there's a change of character entirely, but it only succeeded in breaking this low and this low, but there's a major low here that the market has not still taken out. Okay, so for now I think that Bitcoin will be dropping. Okay, Bitcoin is still dropping very aggressively. Okay, when you look at what the market is doing here, okay, sorry, let me show you something. If you look at what the market is doing here, you see that the market has shown what has shown that Bitcoin is going to drop for a while. Okay, we will just wait for a breakout from this trend line. Okay, let me remove this and let's use a trend line. So we will expect to see a break of structure, of this trend line. Okay, and when that happens, guys, we're going to look for opportunity to buy Bitcoin. Okay, but for now, the market is still going down. Okay, and let's zoom in and look at what the candlesticks are telling us. Okay, so if you look at what the candlesticks are saying, okay, you can see here that we have some, the market is just making some higher highs. Okay, market making some higher highs, and we want to see a break of structure. We want to see market break through this trend line. Excuse me, we want to see market break through this trend line structure. Okay, then we'll look for opportunity to buy this instrument. Otherwise, the selling continues. Okay, otherwise the selling continues. So this trend line, structure is very key for this market. Okay, so we're going to leave this trend line here and wait for a break above this trend line. Okay, guys, that's how simple trading is, but you need to understand market structure properly. Okay, so now let's look at the other instrument. Let's look at gold. So what is gold doing? Now, guys, see, gold have been buying very sharply. Okay, gold have been buying, but recently we've seen some dip in gold, in the price of gold. Okay, that does not mean that we should continue we should look for sell opportunity, okay? But for me, I want to see a buy in gold all the time, okay? I want to ignore every sell signal, and I only want to buy gold, okay? I only want to buy gold because if you look at what the market has been doing in gold, you see that very aggressively gold has been buying. Okay, look at it. Gold has been buying for a very long time. Okay, gold has been buying. All right, so I'm better off looking for buy opportunities in gold. Okay, I want to look for a buy setup in gold. All right, so what I'll do here is this: if I leave this trend line, if gold comes to this level, okay, I will look for a buy opportunity. Otherwise, I look for a break out of this trend line structure, okay? I look for a break out of this trend line structure, all right? Okay, so I want the price to break through this structure to the upside, okay? Or it comes to this trend line, okay, and I'll look for what? I'll look for a buy opportunity, okay? You can also use the 200 moving average, to try to gauge structure for where you could begin to look for a buy opportunity, okay? So guys, that is my setup for gold. So let's look at EJ. Now, if you look at EJ, I've already marked up EJ. So we're going to leave this markup the way it is, okay? Now, I was waiting for this price to come to this supply zone, okay? Guys, those of you who understand how, market structure is and how support and resistance trading and supply and demand, you understand what I'm saying here. So I've already marked up this chart, okay, from the daily time frame. So I want price to what? To get to this supply zone, okay? Then I look for opportunity. So price has tipped the supply zone. You can see it tapped it, okay? Tapped into the supply zone and dropped down, okay? So my entry is from the 1 hour time frame. So let's look at the 1 hour time frame and see how price has reacted off the zones, okay? If you look at it, you see that price is actually, you know, trying to get to the zone. I'm not going to do any trading until I see price come to that zone, okay? Because that zone is my area of interest, okay? I'm only interested in price coming to this zone, okay? And on the 1 hour time frame, the market still has some journey to make to the supply zone. And you know why I'm interested in that supply zone? Because of this massive drop. Okay, so it tells me that this massive drop tells me that this zone is a supply zone because the market took off very sporadically away from this zone. That tells me that there are sellers in this zone. So I'm going to wait for opportunity, to sell at that zone. But you can see there's a fair value gap here, and the market has mitigated that gap. Okay, let me show you where the gap is. Let me show you the fair value gap. This is a fair value gap, the FAV. Okay, fair value gap, that is the FVG. Okay, so let me show you where it is. Okay, this is the fair value gap, guys. Okay, this is where the fair value gap is, and if you know how to trade it, you will see that price has mitigated that level. Okay, and that's why it's coming down. Okay, so this will have been an entry point to the downside, but I'm not trading FVG. Okay, I'm not trading it. Okay, I'm trading supply and demand. Okay, zones. So I want price to get to this supply zone, which is my area of interest, before I look for opportunity to sell, to short this market. Okay, so the next instrument we're going to look at here is the what? Is the UJ, sorry. Okay, so UJ, I think I have a markup on it, but let's see what this market is going to do. So I have a markup here. Okay, you can see that I marked up this chart, okay, for another, possible buy at this supply zone, okay. So, but what price is doing now? Price is ranging, okay. Now, in this range, we can look for an opportunity, okay, when the price comes to what? Comes to this marked up level of my resistance, okay. We can look for an opportunity, okay. Since it's ranging, we can look for buy or sell opportunities because each side of the market is a possibility for a gain, okay. So it's either you come here and look for a short, look for a buy, okay, or you come here and look for a short or a sell, okay. So guys, that's how we're going to trade UJ, okay. So let's look at the other instruments. Let's look at the cable. All right, let's look at the cable, okay. So cable is what it is here. Again, let's go for to the daily time frame. So from the daily time frame, you can see that this market has shown me what a ranging structure. Okay, the market has showed me a ranging structure. So what do? I mark it up. Okay, mark it up. Okay, this is my range structure. Okay, is my range structure. So I can trade from support to resistance or from resistance to support, guys. So that's what we have here. Okay, so what you do is that you drop to the lower time frame. When price get to any of these levels, okay, when price gets to any of this zone, the supply zone or the demand zone or resistance support, okay, you look for buy or sell opportunity. Okay, so this is a clear structure for the cable. Okay, so we're going to trade it like that. Okay, so let's look at the other instrument, EU. Okay, the euro is just, you know, it's just playing a sideways game. Okay, so it's still ranging as well. Okay, it's still ranging, but you need to like bring out the characteristic structure of um of of euro. Okay, now you can see that, you know, generally speaking, the market is in an uptrend because it's creating new highs. Okay, let me show you. It's creating new high here, new high, high, high. Okay, and higher high. So this is an uptrend. Okay, so what do you do here? You look for a buy opportunity. Okay, now you can use the 200 moving average. Okay, so now let me look at the 200 moving average instead of using a trend line. I'll be using trend line, but let me use another structure, you know, to trade this. So I want to add the moving average. Okay, let's use the 200 moving average. Okay, so let's use the moving average. So let's look for moving average, simple moving average, guys. Okay, I'm going to use the simple moving average, and I'm going to change the period. I'm going to change the period to 200. Okay, let's change the period to 200. Okay, so we change this to 200. I'm going to use 200 moving average as my structure. Okay, fine. Okay, so now price is above the 200 moving average. Okay, so I'm going to look for a buy from here, from the, not from the 1 hour, not from the daily time frame, but from the what? From the 1 hour time frame. So where we are, you can see price has made what? A bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. Okay, now, and the market is still going up. So what I will do is this: I can drop down to the 1 hour time frame and look for an opportunity. Okay, and look for a buy opportunity. So what the price is doing here, the market is selling. Okay, so I want to see a close above the 200 moving average before I can look for a buy opportunity. But let's look at the daily time frame and see the overall market structure. Okay, let's look at the overall market structure. Let's look at the overall market structure. From what we can see here, the market is buying. Okay, the market is making higher highs, guys. Okay, the market is making what? Higher highs from this time frame, from the daily time frame. Okay, so I'm going to look for a buy opportunity. Okay, when I drop down to 1 hour time frame. So at my 1 hour time frame, I want to look for what? I want to look for a buy opportunity. Okay, you can use a moving average cross. Okay, you can use a moving average cross as added confirmation. Okay, so let's go for another moving average. Okay, simple moving average this time around. Okay, so let's see if we can. Let's try and change this to. Let's try and change. Let's see if this will allow us to change it to another moving average. You can use a cross, a moving average cross. Okay, you can use a moving average cross. Let's see, with a smaller period. Okay, so let's use a smaller period of 50. Okay, and then let's change the color to red. Okay, all right, so we can use a cross here. Okay, so we can use a cross here on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so if there's a cross above the smaller period, above the bigger period, okay, I look for a buy opportunity. Okay, So guys, that's how we're going to trade this instrument, okay? But mind you, we are not trading cross, we're trading what? We're trading price action, okay? So I want to see price break out and retest the structure, and I'll look for a buy opportunity, okay? So guys, we just have 20 minutes for this video. Let's look at the other one, AN, okay? What we're going to look at AN. Okay, let's just go to dollar index and see what we expect from what we expect from the dollar this week, okay? So when you look at the dollar index, guys, you see clearly that the dollar index is clearly on the downtrend, okay? It's clearly on the downtrend, but it is now ranging, okay? So anything can happen, okay? So it is ranging. And let me show you the range structure. Okay, this is the range structure, guys. Okay, so the dollar index is ranging. What that means is that there's no clear upper side. Okay, the dollar is still a bit is still resilient. Okay, so that's what that means for this range structure. It means that the dollar is resilient. Okay, and for where prices now, it shows that the market can still push up, so dollar could still gain strength. So you're going to use this to trade the other major currencies, okay? The other major currency pairs that I have mentioned here, you're going to use this dollar index as a benchmark, okay? So if dollar is dropping, okay, you can use it to benchmark the other major pairs, all right? If you understand what I mean, just use that strategy, all right? So guys, that's what we have here today for you. I don't think I should go deeper than this. I don't want this video to get too long, okay? So guys, these are my outlook for the week, and these are the instruments, commodities, and the dollar and the currency pairs that I want to analyze for this week. So we'll follow through with other videos to show you the outcome, okay? Thank you very much, and do have a blessed day. Bye-bye.